Welcome to the Unwritten Rules podcast. I'm Sarah, your co-host, founder, CEO, community builder, and project manager. I have the amazing and beautiful.
Hey y'all, I'm Jasmine J, executive strategist, founder, CEO, and community builder.
And we are here to give you unwritten rules.
Each episode, we're gonna pull an unwritten rule from our unwritten rule jar and talk about how this rule applies to us both individually. So tune in,
Laugh with us,
and let's unpack
the unwritten rules. A new day,
Yes.
a new month, new episode.
Yes.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, girl. What about you?
I feel good. Since it is a new month and a new
Yes.
day, what's like one word you can give for December?
For December,
Last month of 2025.
prosperity.
Okay, why?
So for me, it's just been a long year of like preparation, right? And God has already confirmed for me what's happening now, what's about to happen, what first quarter will look like. And so I'm just setting that tone right now.
I like that. I think the word for me is preparation.
Okay.
Prosperity, preparation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like 2026, no, I'm not gonna say I feel like, I know 2026 is a season of overflow.
For sure.
And I feel like God is testing our capacity right now.
Yes.
Like,
Very
for
much
real.
so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I'm definitely going to say preparation because yes, and we'll talk about it. But before we jump in, what is one moment this week that tested your faith?
One moment this week that tested my faith. So I was telling you in the green room that I've been struggling with cluster headaches all week. And I actually, we're ending the year. So there's a lot that I'm trying to do to prepare for this prosperity, this overflow, and all of these things. And so having that cluster headache where I can't even raise my head up off the pillow
Wow.
is just extremely hard. But you have things to do because you have people counting on you. So that was probably like my challenge for the week. But God always makes a way.
I love that.
What about
having
you?
cluster headaches is severe.
It's severe, girl. It's horrible. Anybody out there who suffers with migraines, clusters, listen. I did a IV drop. Shout out to Bounce Hydration. They pulled up on me yesterday. They gave me all the vitamins that I need. They gave me magnesium. They said that's really good for headaches.
Yep, sure is.
They gave me some medicine that you won't be able to get at the hospital.
Yeah.
And it just really helped me, and that's how I'm able to function today. But yeah, if you have headaches out there, y'all not alone.
A
It makes you
holistic
think you're
approach.
crazy.
It make you think you're crazy.
Yeah, because for those type of headaches, the over-the-counter medicine doesn't work.
True.
So Tylenol, Motrin, all of that, it doesn't work. And
Yeah.
then it's just a constant headache. So
Yeah.
it's like you think you're losing your mind.
Yeah. I ain't never experienced it, but yeah. Anywho.
Stay away from that. But what about you? What's your one moment?
I think one of the moments, let me think about that. This week, I know it's a new week, but I think honestly, some days I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
But I know that when I don't feel like it, I have to test myself not to pull myself or drain myself because today I might not feel like it. So sometimes when new challenges take place and I don't really know what's behind that challenge, on top of not really feeling like it, that's where my faith had to kick in.
Yes.
Because it's really having to persevere through uncertainty.
Definitely. And when it comes to faith, that's like believing what you can't see, right?
Yep.
And like I was saying with those headaches, even though I'm out for the count, like there's nothing I can do. Don't even call my phone. Like my room is dark, my phone is wherever it's at. Like I'm disconnected from the world.
Yes.
But I'm trusting God that all the things that have to happen and the
Right.
deadlines that I got to meet by today and Friday and Saturday and all of those things, it's all going. I have faith.
Yeah.
So,
Faith is really small. I wish I would have brought a little mustard seed because that thing is so small. Have you just seen one?
girl,
It's this tiny.
they say
It's
that's
that
all
tiny.
you need.
That's all you need. So I'm putting that. I'm putting all my trust in God.
Yes, me
So that
too,
brings me
girl.
to the question of the day.
Yes.
How do you hold on to faith when everything around you feels uncertain? I basically just said that. Okay. Let me say that one more time. How do you hold on to faith when everything around you feels uncertain?
So you gotta get in that word no matter what. I don't really call myself a very religious person. way more spiritual than religious. However, I'm going to pick up that Bible and I'm going to read and I'm going to ask God for understanding. And I think that's what helps. Like when everything else is going wrong, that's what grounds me. I know I made a post on Instagram maybe a few months ago, and I'm like, in a world of uncertainty, right? Like what we're going through in the world today, the leadership that we have in the United States and all the craziness, how do you stay spiritually sound? You know, like how do you stay insane? I mean, how do you keep your sanity?
Right,
How do
right.
you not go insane in times like right now?
Yeah.
It's faith.
It's
and
faith.
if you have a relationship with God, He'll prepare you. He'll give you everything you need. He'll tell you, hey, just sit still. You know, in times like this, I feel like these are the times for people who have been preparing because now there aren't so many distractions. You don't really have too much you could count on because a lot of resources are being ripped out of people's lives.
That is
So
so
you
true.
have to count on God or
That's
you're going to
true.
be lost.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to piggyback on what you said. I feel like I am more spiritual than I am religious. And I
Yes.
grew up a Baptist, so I know the Bible for
Yes.
sure. But I can say if I was to give you a title for my season, it's called The Valley, right?
Right.
And so one night I woke up and I pay attention to numbers.
Yeah.
I woke up, I checked my phone, it's 555.
Yeah.
555 mean change. And so I started checking Instagram, then I went to my emails, started checking emails and stuff like that. And normally when I check my emails, I just read the title of it. But I actually clicked on the email from like this Quest articles that popped up. And it started talking about Ezekiel in the Bible. And so it was a picture of a skeleton sitting in the valley with dead bones surrounding him or surrounding it.
Yes.
And so when I started reading about Ezekiel and it was talking about how God asked Ezekiel, do you see the dead bones? Do you see what's around you? But do you have faith to speak to those dead bones?
Right.
And then so when I really started breaking those things down and I started going deeper on the story of Ezekiel, I realized God is asking you, can you speak to your dead bones?
Yep.
Whether that's your finances, whether
Yep.
that's a relationship, whether that's in business, right? And so I realized that in the valley where everything may feel dry, you got to speak to what's around you right now and put faith back in it.
You know what? In the valley is the becoming.
Yep.
And I think that's what people need to wrap their mind around. When you're in the valley, yes, it's very hard
Yep.
down there. Well, not down there, but it's very hard in the
Yes.
valley. But that's the becoming. That's when you realize the strength that you have. That's when that connection to God is stronger than ever.
That's true.
Because you're in the valley,
in the
right?
valley.
And so you're depending on Him to guide and show you. And I hope that us as people, but especially us as Black women, that we change our perspective about the valley. And we take the opportunity to be grateful for those experiences, because if you haven't been through the valley, then how do you show God your appreciation for all the things He blessed you with if you don't know what that time looks like? And I'm not saying valley means your world is over. That just means that there's a lot of changing. There's a lot of things that God is moving around. Things are very uncomfortable and unbalanced.
Right.
You know, however, that's the becoming.
And I agree with that. And I think, you know, they always say prayer is when you talk to God, but meditation is when you listen to God.
Yep.
But you got to have an open ear to be able to get the instructions that God needs from you. And I think that starts off with detoxing and putting our body in places or things where we can be filled by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be in the right environments to hear Him.
Definitely got to be in the right environment. And then us as women, especially women that are leading in communities and spaces like that, we're leaders and we've learned to speak things as if they're not, right? Like
That's true.
speaking things in existence, manifesting things. And when you do that so much, sometimes you forget. You don't even remember how to listen. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a very good point that you brought up. Like the meditation part is where you listen.
Yeah.
It's not where you're telling God what you need to happen.
Yes. And a lot of people think meditation is when you're like kumbaya sitting like this, but meditation is going for a walk in nature. You remember that time we went to the park and we came up with so many ideas. We came up with so much stuff, but God is around us in so many places. And I always get most of my downloads from God and nature.
Me too. I'm a nature girl. My mom was laughing at me on Thanksgiving. I was outside after I ate, and she was just like, "You really love it outside." I'm like, "That's why I feel most comfortable. Like I could chill outside literally all day." And we live in Houston, Texas, where it is hot as hell.
Super hot
in the summertime. Even in the We just now getting cold weather this
and
week.
it's a little bit.
And it's December.
Yeah.
Well, people done been snowed in and things like that, but I love it outside.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's jump into the main conversation.
Yeah, let's go with you.
Okay. So we want to take a shot real quick? I mean,
let's
just do that. Let's just do that. Shot of faith.
Shot of faith is funny. All right, take us there.
I really just want to talk about that. You know, when we talk about faith, faith is not a pretty topic.
No.
Because your faith is not tested when everything's good. Faith is tested through the dark times, through the valley, through the season of uncertainty.
Yes.
Right? So when we talk about the pressure to make faith look perfect online. So, you know, when we show up on social media, you know, a lot of people are living a imperfect life and a perfect image on social media.
Yeah.
But what do you feel about that type of pressure for entrepreneurs or women like ourselves or even the young generation who do feel pressured by having to show up, you know, online and appear to be something that they either are or not?
Yes. Don't succumb to it. Like at the end of the day, that's unnecessary pressure that you're putting on yourself. Because it's not real.
Yeah.
It's just simply not real. Not to say that everything on the internet is fake, because I'm very much present on the internet and so are you. But what I'm saying is that identity that is created on the internet, trying to chase that, don't hold yourself to that pressure. What I think we should do, what should bring on pressure for us, is our goals. Like, what do we want to accomplish? That's where the real pressure is.
Yeah.
For me, I use social media to my benefit of storytelling. That is what social media is for me. It is not a representation of who I am. It is not my resume. It is not my family. That's not what social media is for me. It is a platform for me to tell the stories that I want to share. And so because that's my mindset, I don't see pressure. You know, I don't have pressure when I get online. I don't see other CEOs and I'm like, oh man, look at what she got going on. That's great. Oh, now I got to do it. No, I look at it. I'm a thumbs up. I'm a comment, you go girl, you rocking, you know, but that has nothing to do with me and how I choose to show up on social media. And I just wish more entrepreneurs, CEOs, I wish we looked at it differently, especially for my youth. And that's why I do the youth programming and all the things that I do for the youth, because I want to teach them. Don't get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in, oh, I got to look like this. I got to have hair down to here. I got to have my body right. I'm going to the gym every morning. They're posting that they're going to the gym when they go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean that they're going every day. Now, there are some health gurus that this is their lifestyle. This is the story they want to share.
Right.
So, yes, they're in the gym every day. But that doesn't mean somebody that shows a cute picture with a cute little workout set that they working out every day.
Exactly.
No. And if they was really working out as hard as they needed to work out, okay, we always got to go there. But you know where I'm going with that.
I'm finna start fanning you.
So it's like, pause. But what about you?
I think what's really happening that's not really talked about enough is identity crisis.
Yeah.
Which leads to imposter syndrome. And that's because, you know, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yep.
And right now I'm doing a detox from social media.
Shout out to that.
I am on Pinterest. I be scrolling on Pinterest as a placeholder. I ain't gonna lie. But I realize in a season where I am shifting my own identity, I cannot get complacent or get too comfortable by getting thumb hungry or thumb crazy.
Yeah.
And it's common. Even if you're on there posting your content, you are going to scroll, you are going to consume.
Right.
So the minute that I feel like I'm consuming too much, I'm like, let me just take a break. And I realized I needed to take a break. But when I deleted Instagram, I had to be honest with myself. I said, God, I ask that you remove the spirit of comparison, because I know what it is that I want. I might see something, I see somebody might have something I'm actually looking forward to.
Yes.
But I don't have any jealousy towards it. But I'm like, God, I can't wait for that to be me.
Yeah.
But I said, don't let me get ahead of myself, and don't let me get ahead of you. So like, let me take a break. Let me, you know, get off and let me focus on my own self so I can build my identity through the lenses of him and not the lenses of somebody else.
Definitely. And it goes back to people, like we have to heal as people, you know, period, just with generations of trauma. But let's just talk about COVID. There's a lot that happened to the world during COVID. And it's like, we're back in those times. It's not COVID, but we're back in a time of crisis.
Yes.
And when people go through that, there's a lot that people go through mentally. And they're not healing from these things.
Right.
They're not getting any better. So that adds to how people are showing up online.
That's true.
Because you could be so miserable in the space that you're in that you have created this fake reality digitally, you know, and it's just so unhealthy.
Have you seen these AI platforms,
Girl,
these
yes.
profiles where it's actually a whole lifestyle of a AI avatar that has over 300,000 followers and is making money?
Making money.
Yeah.
Making money. The
Yeah.
AI artist is what's blowing my mind. I think it's kind of cool though, you know, like I'm kind of in between. It's like, but then I'm like, I know that what's to come. We can't run from technology.
We can't.
We can't run from it. And so that's why it's important for us to educate ourselves and then to learn who we are as people.
That's true.
I know who Jasmine
That's
is.
true.
So you could put me in a virtual reality, you could put me in real reality, you could send me over across the country, wherever I'm at, I know who I am. But this is years.
That's true.
Tens of, okay?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
a lot.
saying? It wasn't until probably when I turned 30 that I really started to identify of who I wanted to be as a woman and who God created me to be. So for the first other 29 years of that, I was just out here figuring it out, you know? So it does take time to learn yourself, but we need to be more intentional about that, especially in a time like today.
Well, let's talk about leadership. I mean, when have you ever had to lead? Have you ever had to lead when you also was doubting yourself at the same time or doubting what you were doing, but you still had to show up and be a leader?
Yes. Every single day since we've opened CCN in March of 2021. Nah, but of course, you know, there has been moments where I've doubted myself. I'm human, you know. I'm a very confident person, but I am human. And sometimes when you reflect and you look at numbers, you have faith, you know what God is saying, but sometimes what you see don't always add up to what you know he told you.
Yes.
And in that time, that's where you kind of like doubt yourself.
Yeah.
But I still have to show up with that same level of confidence for the team, you know, and that's a part of leadership. And it's something that I enjoy. But what I feel like I do that other leaders don't do is that transparency. Leaders want to show up and act like they got it all together. I'm the one, yeah. When I don't know, I'm not afraid to tell my team, hey, I really don't know how we're going to get out of this, but I can guarantee you I'm going to do everything I need to do, and I'm going to tap into God to see how he's going to guide us out of that. But I'm not going to sit at this executive meeting and act like I got a whole plan on how we're going to fix this issue.
Right.
Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is faith.
It is.
That takes us to the next level.
Yeah.
But I'm transparent about that.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Do you feel like is it received better when you are transparent with your team?
Yes, I do. I think initially that transparency can sometimes cause like fear, you know? If you sit down with your leader, if you're working for an organization, you're putting all your time into this organization, you sit down with the leader and the leader is a little uncertain, that can kind of cause some uncertainty for you. But once this is something we practice and we're building relationship and we trust one another, then they appreciate it.
Yeah.
They appreciate it. That way they can tweak the things they need to tweak.
That's
you know,
true.
whether that's they show up more or maybe they need to work on an exit plan, whatever the case may be. But that transparency is there. And the reason why I do it is because I want that same level of transparency.
Yes.
You know, if I'm working with a team and you working on a whole nother opportunity, tell me you working on that opportunity.
Right.
I'm not the type of leader that's gonna say, oh, you working on another opportunity? Bye. Peace.
Yes.
No, let me understand, that way we are clear on how we're gonna get from point A to point B.
Right.
So that transparency is a two-way street. It's
Right.
not just me going around here saying, hey, it's like this, it's like that, don't do this. It's both ways.
Right.
And for me, it works. I
Yeah.
can't say what it does for everyone else, but for me, that type of leadership, transparent leadership is the way for me.
I feel like transparency saves money and time.
Yeah. And headaches.
Yeah. And headaches.
That we ain't got time for sure. So what about you? I know in the leadership sense, I know you're building community and you know, with your project management and the way that you work with creators and the people in real estate. Like, what about you? How do you still show up when you're kind of like uncertain about yourself, and what part does faith play in that?
Honestly, when I say I'm holding God's hand, at first I used to be the type of person where, you know, I'm like, it's okay, God, I got it.
Yeah.
But this time I'm gripping God's hand.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm realizing that God is testing me and he's testing my capacity and he's showing me you're praying for a lot, but I'm about to create you to be the person who can handle the responsibility that's coming. You know, so with me having a property management company and I'm having investors that are coming in, flying in from left to right, and I'm managing not only a person, but I'm managing their asset. And so I am having to be a whole different person right now because we got maintenance, we got builders, we have so many moving parts, and it's requiring me to keep my mind sharp.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing that in order for me to be a great leader and to lead people that are trusting me with their $1 million asset, I got to show up and I got to trust myself.
Yeah.
So I can't doubt. I'm like, I have days where I'm doubting my decision or doubting how I should do this or how should I handle this, because the whole point is to, minimize risk and make sure that we put everything in place where we're not overdoing something or overcompensating here. So I'm have to be very strategic with partnership this season and leadership this season.
Yeah.
So I just think for me, it's really, like you said, being transparent. If it's something I don't have a answer for, I have to be honest about that answer, but I am gonna look it up at the same time.
Right.
So I'm learning and growing literally at the same time.
And then when you think of yourself on the other side of that, like when you're working with a leader or you're like trusting someone with your stuff, don't you want the truth?
Yes, 100%.
100%. And that's how business owners need to think. You have to think as the business owner, and you also have to think as the consumer.
That's true.
And what's best for both. And that transparency is just
no, that's true. And then just based off of community, I feel like sometimes you got to take a step back into the shadows and really, sharpen your own iron and get around other people like ourselves and sharpen our irons with each other so that when we get back in the spotlight, we're a whole different person.
Yeah.
You cannot lead the blind and be blind.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah, you just can't do it. You can't do it.
So let me ask you this. I can remember a couple moments. I actually wrote about this in my book, which y'all need to check out. But I wrote about this saying there are certain situations where I was introduced to a new level of faith, right? Like, there's no other option. I had to have faith. Or there's some times like that for you. Is there certain situations where your faith, this particular situation, grew your faith?
Yes, 100%.
So what are some of those, or is there one you could share with us?
I can't think of the one like on top of my head right now, but just in general, I just feel like I'm a student right now.
Yeah.
Like I am a student to my own doubts and everything. Like I think the thing is that in a world that's so fast paced, I am calm through my journey right now.
Yes.
I'm pacing everything out. I'm not rushing nothing. I'm not trying to get an answer like this like I used to. I'm allowing God to show it to me in a way that needs to come natural.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing nothing. Like I'm so content with where I am and how I'm having to just be present. Even if I feel like, okay, God, well, we got this big bill right here. How are we gonna take care of it? I'm not even stressed about it. And I realize at the moment that I let go, it's like subconsciously, it's like the money is already coming to me, and then it just naturally flows. And I'm like, oh, there it is. I had no idea it was gonna come this way, but my faith is coming through the unknown.
Yeah, I think as business owners, a lot of us grow our faith in entrepreneurship. Like it's inevitable. Like you're gonna grow your faith in entrepreneurship because you're gonna have to lean and depend on somebody.
Yes,
you
have to.
But I think a particular moment where I knew for sure for me, it was like, okay, I have to strengthen my relationship with God and have faith. I had all three of my kids. I think I was maybe like 24, 25, because my youngest daughter was a baby. And I had just put my whole household to sleep. Like my kids went to sleep. I was married at the time. I had packed my husband's lunch. I was doing all the traditional things. Everybody is rested. And I sat at the table to go through my finances and all of that, girl, and I just broke. I just broke because I was so exhausted. But before I broke, my youngest daughter had walked down, my oldest daughter had walked downstairs and asked me for something out the refrigerator. I just washed dishes. I just done everything. And that one little thing it just broke me. And I remember just sitting there like, God, even though from the outside it looks like I have everything taken care of. I have a Cadillac in the driveway. I'm in a 4-bedroom home. I have 3 kids. I have a husband. So on the outside, I'm living the American dream.
Right.
And the inside, I've been on go since I had this baby at 17. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
I'm empty.
Wow.
Me, Jasmine's empty.
Wow.
Even though on the outside it looks like everything is together.
Right.
And that's when I had my first real experience of just having a true conversation with God and then just trusting him. When I walked away from that table, I knew that everything would be okay, that my kids would be good, that he would provide. give me this whole opportunity to make this family and then just leave us here hanging.
Come on now.
You know, but I didn't have control. I couldn't see.
You couldn't
I couldn't see past that particular day.
Right.
It was just like, this is too much. Especially for, you talking about a 24-year-old girl trying to run a household of 5.
Wow.
And additionals. You know, it was just a lot. But that's when I had a meeting with God, and I was like, you know, faith is what's going to take me to the next level. And I've just been walking with belief ever since then. And then you fast forward to COVID. You know, I've talked to you about my time during COVID. I was back in that same boat I was that particular night. I just felt like I didn't even recognize myself because I had just been on the go. But what I was living in and the way my life was not what I had envisioned. You know what I'm saying? It's not what I wanted. It was, I'm grateful, but it's not what I had envisioned for my life. You know?
I don't know if they heard you, but you said that you had a meeting with God.
Yes.
And I think that's something we should also talk about is how do we balance spirituality and strategy? Because a lot of people don't know how to have a meeting with God or how, because, you know, God gonna meet you where you at. And I feel like in this season, I'm co-partnering with God.
Yes.
So what does a meeting with God look like?
So that goes back to like being authentic. Who are you as a person? So me, Jasmine, if I want to be, we're friends, right? We have a friendship outside of this. So if I want to talk to you or I want to meet with you or I need to get something to Sarah, what I'm going to do? I'm going to call you. I'm going to text you. I'm like, hey, bro, we need to meet up at the park or brunch. You know, I'm going to invite you to come in my space. Same thing with God. But the best thing about God is I ain't got to wait. That boy going to pull up right there at that moment.
Right
so
there
I literally, when I want to meet with God, I literally sit at a table or whatever my comfortable spot is.
Yeah.
But most likely I'm at a table or I'm outside. And I just ask him, hey, can you pull up on me? And I literally sit there and I talk. I just,
that's it.
That's it. And for other people, it could look weird. It could look like I'm crazy. It could look whatever it needs to look like. But it's not for other people. This is an intimate relationship, and this is what I need right now. And I just talk.
That's it. That's all it takes. And I feel like for 2026, I feel like when it comes to attacking our goals, and I say attack because we got to step in and command what it is that we want, you know, but it's really just like you said, having an encounterment with God. And I think the biggest thing for me is building a relationship with God that's like, that's undeniable is what I mean, undeniable. Because speaking of undeniable, I think another thing when it comes to faith is, number one, I feel like I done got so many denials this season. Yeah. I've been hearing the word deny. And it's not really like the actual word, but you know, no one like being told no.
No, of course you don't.
So I'm like, okay, how do I accept these no's that I'm hearing in this season? So I told myself 2026, we finna go from denied to access denied, but that has to come from a place where I'm able to sit down and be silent and allow God to talk to me or talk through me and talk around me. Because sometimes his words is not going to come like an actual person or like actual voice. It may come through a book. It may come through numbers. It may come through what you see, what you feel. Because the encounterment that I have with God is a feeling. I can feel when God's presence is in a room with me. Yeah. I know exactly when he's waking me up at my sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning time. It's a reason why he woke me up at 3. It's not a coincidence. Right. He didn't wake you up at 3 for no reason. No, it's a reason. It's actually a powerful hour for people to actually wake up and strategize with God. And now I'm trying to tell myself, stop being lazy. If God told you get up at 3 and start praying, you need to start praying at 3 o'clock too.
You know, that's it. Let's talk about that, because this is something I see a lot as I build community and, you know, interact with other founders and CEOs and entrepreneurs. Man, listen, that spirit of laziness, you got to pray that off of you.
You do.
And it's not to say that everything has to be a grind. It's not to say that everything has to be hard. But if you're a believer and you read the word and you educate yourself, then you will know that everything's not gonna come easy. Yes. You know, when you're in alignment, it flows to you easy, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to do the work. Yes. And that laziness is the opposite of what God wants. Right. And so even me, I've had to, like, with these cluster headaches, being in the bed sick, it was very hard to get up today. It was cool for me. I really was like, hey, I might as well just call it a week. It's already Wednesday. I could catch up 2 more days of rest. I'll be ready to hit the ground Monday. But that was just laziness. My head is not keeping me in the bed today. I'm feeling much better. So if I would have just stayed at home, I've been resting. I've been in the bed for 3-4 days. So it's not like I'm tired. If I would have just stayed at home today, it would have been pure laziness. And I'm praying that out of my spirit. So here I am.
So well, let's talk about the difference between lazy and actual rest.
Yes,
You know,
it's a difference.
because when we talk about grounding ourselves, sometimes rest is not laziness. Now, of course, if you're tired, go to sleep.
Yes.
But sometimes if your spirit needs rest, I think when it comes to building a strategy, when it comes to spirituality, like resting our spirit has to come with strategy also.
You know how I am with that. I feel
Yes.
like you have to have a strategy for every part.
Right.
So yes, rest has to be a part. Like you have to have a strategy for that. You have to incorporate that in your everyday living. And that's why I said today, if I wouldn't have come for me, I put rest in my play, and I'm just coming off of 3 or 4 days of true rest, even before my headache.
That's true.
Where I was just chilling. Like my kids, I'm just chilling,
Yeah.
really not doing anything. Resting my mind. I'm not working on anything. I'm just watching TV. I'm lost in TV.
Yeah, facts.
So I had that. Today would have been different. I had stuff to do.
Yeah.
So today wasn't a rest day. My spirit wasn't heavy. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just me not wanting to get out the bed because I've been in the bed
That's
for
the
so long.
difference.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. That's the difference. Now, I will say for those who want to ground themselves and just don't know what to do when it comes to getting spiritual rest outside of rest. Like I said, if you're tired, go to sleep.
Yep.
But spiritual rest may be like, go buy you a new journal. Go get you a journal. Go get you a pen.
A good
go
book.
sit outside in nature and just start writing your thoughts out. Allow the thoughts to come to you. Don't try to mimic your thoughts. Just be free and just be present. And I think, I started asking myself that when I wake up in the morning. I say, Sarah, how do you feel today? And I started realizing like, okay, this left side of my shoulder is hurting. Why is that? Why do I'm holding so much tension here? But I realize when I'm stressed, my stress actually gets materialized in my shoulder. And so when I'm being present with myself, I'm able to treat myself accordingly and give myself the rest that I need in order for me to show up. Because if my body aching, I can't really operate the way I want to. And I'm 28 years old, but yes, my body do ache.
Yes.
It does. But it comes from a
Once you get
place
to
of
30, I'm talking about on your 30th birthday, your knees gonna start
I
hurting.
rebuke that in the
promise.
name of Jesus.
Call me.
I rebuke it. Listen. I said that the other day I was at the gym and I'm proud of myself because I be hitting my little PRs and I was doing the leg press. I'm at 400 pounds now. And I realized
Pause. We ain't gonna just roll over that. Like, I know you trying to get to a point. I don't want to keep that point from the people. But we're not gonna just roll over that you in the gym pressing 400 pounds with your legs. Jesus Christ. Hey, don't make Sarah mad and let her kick y'all.
You know what?
You're going down to the ground.
Legs day be the best day.
Yes, it do, girl.
It be the best day, but
It really
I kind of felt my knees started to crack a little bit, and I started to get kind of worried. And one of my gym friends was like, "Man, you gonna start wearing them sleeves on your knees?" And I was like, "Okay, I gotta get a sleeve break." Okay. But all in all, yes. So don't tell me that. But okay, I'm gonna call you on my 30th and let you know how they.
Girl, look, my cousin recently turned 30. My cousin Chase, shout out to him. And well, he didn't recently because he about to be 31 this month. So last year, this time when he turned 30. We laughing about it, and it wasn't even Chase. It's Don. Sorry, wrong cousin. But when he turned 30, Don say the day he hurt himself in the gym and like just hurting, like body just hurting. I'm like, I'm telling you, the closer you get to that mark. And every time I tell my mom, like, I'm getting older, I can't move around like I used to. Like the other day, I had to get on the floor to pick up something in Studio One. I had to look around and make sure Bobby in particular was nowhere around to laugh at me the way that I had to roll off that concrete, girl.
You had a roll? Like a roly-poly? Like you had a roll?
I couldn't just like get up. Back in the day, if I'm just sitting in and style on the floor, I could just like one hand get up. I literally laid down, rolled over, and then set up.
You know, me mom, my great grandmother is still living. She's 84 years old. I used to talk
Shout out to her.
I used to talk about how she had to kick her leg up and get up.
Oh yeah, get that little momentum.
I caught me kicking my leg up the other day, trying to get up out the chair. I was like, you know what,
That
Mom,
little
I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, give you that little momentum, girl. That body, hey, young people, take care of your body and your teeth.
Yeah, in your teeth.
Got to.
Yeah, just every part of the body, just take care of your body.
Yeah.
Just do what you can,
Yeah.
But
so, we talk a lot about like faith, believing in times of like hard times. What about faith when things are like lit? It's going how it's supposed to go. You're in your season of overflow. What does faith look like in that time?
Ooh. That's a good question.
It is, because it's not talked about a lot, you know. And for me, when I was younger, I would pray for things that I want. And then when God would give them to me, I'd just be coasting. He ain't heard from me. God ain't heard from me. He answered my prayers and I'm just out here coasting, you know. But that was young. I still was building and learning what a true relationship looks like, whether that's, you know, spiritually or a physical relationship. But it was like I had to learn that, hey, even in the times where everything is going right, God still deserves every part of you. He still deserves that meditation. He still deserves that mustard seed faith. He still deserves the praise. He still deserves everything, even when things are already going right. So now I've just made the routine. That's why people don't know when I sometimes share some of my struggles. People think I'm lying to them because they don't know. They can't tell that from the outside, because my faith is going to be the same. No matter if I got $0 in my bank account or 100,000, a million, 10 million, 10 billion. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
My faith and how I show up in the relationship that I have with God and how I show up in that particular relationship is now the same. But it's taken me years to get that way.
And I feel like in business, I feel like when we reach that certain milestone in our business, there's new challenges after that milestone.
So it's like the day it happened.
Yeah, no, seriously. But it's kind of like, it's like at a point where it's like, I get excited now. Yeah. So it's kind of like right now, even in the season of the valley, I'm seeing the light. Yeah. I'm seeing the tunnel, and it's like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. And I'm getting excited. So my faith comes from not being ignorant, to not think that a challenge is not going to come, even though it's getting good.
See, there we go.
That part.
Because you got to be crazy. You have to be crazy to think that challenges aren't going to come with the things that you want. At the end of the day, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
If it was easy, and that's what separates the 1%. The 5% or whatever number you want to use. It's not only the faith, but it's the work ethic. And that's the part that I feel like we gotta keep talking about, because we can have all the faith in the world, and you can believe and you can pray and God can show you, but if you don't do the action steps that God has shown you to do, then you just dreaming.
Yeah, you just dreaming. You just dreaming.
Yeah.
But let's take a break.
The rule of the day.
Let's pull a rule of the day.
Okay.
Let's pull a rule of the day.
Okay. Let me see. Let me shake them up. Hey, y'all. So the rule of today, being misunderstood. Girl. Being misunderstood is part of being legendary.
Wow.
If everyone gets it too soon, you're probably not doing anything new.
Ooh, say that last part again.
If everyone gets it too soon, you're probably not doing anything new.
Huh. What you take from that?
Being misunderstood is part of being legendary. Really, and that kind of just goes to what we was just talking about.
Yeah.
Like, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And that's kind of how I can really resonate with that, because what I'm really trying to build with CCN, it may appear that I'm just want to be another media network like these other media networks, but that's not the ultimate goal, you know, and what I'm trying to create doesn't really exist right now.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, and it's hard.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, man, I had 3 kids by 24 with a whole household. You would think that's the hardest thing I would ever have done. And for a long time it was. But this vision, this calling that God put on me, this is hard. And even though there are things out there that I'm not the first person to do anything that I'm doing. There are people who do this. But the way I want to package it and how I want to put it together, I am the first at doing this, but I'm also building legacy.
Right.
So that's why I know it's going to be different. And that's why I'm building community for people who are building legacy and doing things that are legendary, because we need that community to know that it's going to be hard. You're not the first person. You're going to be misunderstood. People are not going to understand.
Yes.
But when you're around like-minded people, you have that community that could push you forward.
Yes.
When I'm at the point where I want to tap out, there's certain groups or certain people that I can call and share that with that will actually understand. I can't call everybody and say, hey, man, I'm ready to tap out, because they don't understand how big this is.
Right.
Some people be like, well, you've done a lot for the community, Jazz. So if you want to tap out and, focus on you, that's fine. Like, you
Wow.
should be okay with that.
Right.
That makes sense. I mean, a logic person, that's logical.
Right.
I have done that. And hey, I mean, once you start looking at numbers, the numbers are the numbers. But when it's spiritual, when God is calling you something bigger, to something that don't even exist yet, then there is no blueprint.
No.
But the faith is there.
The faith is there. There's no blueprint and there's no traditional route. I'm not taking a traditional route to success. I'm not looking to. I have never been made to be the same as anybody. And I knew that was the case when I prayed and I asked God, I said, put me in my own lane. And when he put me in my own lane, he definitely put me in my own lane.
Right.
And sometimes, like, even being in real estate and networking, you know, I'm walking in rooms where I'm the youngest person in the room. I'm the youngest Black woman in the room, and it's a whole bunch of other folks in there, you know, but I realize I have to have that type of confidence because God gave me the vision, even if it's not understood by nobody else that's in the room. But I know I have the ingenuity and I also have integrity, because a lot of times a person can be in a business for a very, very long time. They could be 20, 30 years older than you and they don't have no integrity when it comes to business. But I thank God for instilling that inside of me at the time that he did. So, you know, being misunderstood is a part of my journey. It's a part of my process.
Yes.
So
I want to read this rule one more time for the people. Being misunderstood is a part of being legendary.
Wow. I love that.
Me too.
That's a good closing note.
Yep. So as we close out this episode, I know we kind of talked about our week, you know, a little bit, but it's been a few weeks since we recorded. So I think we should just close out, like, just sharing where we are and what we want to encourage people to do. So.
Okay, I love that. I think number one, to get prepared for 2026, trust yourself, trust your decisions, and get closer to your spirit. Like, just eliminate all the noise. It's okay to get by yourself. Solitude is not a bad thing. Get by yourself, listen to yourself, be present with yourself, and just be prepared for what it is that you're asking God for in 2026.
Yes.
So get the tools that you need to have and surround yourself around like-minded people and actually mastermind with those who can help you achieve your goals, because you can't do it by yourself. And when you're going through a season of overflow, you got to be prepared for that overflow by having the right people and the right tools and being in the right place at the right time. So that's one thing that I will leave off for those that are entering in 2026.
Yes. That was great. I should have went first. So I would say, basically, you know, with the overflow and everything in 2026, money, finances, energy, all of that is, money is like energy. It flows where it's welcomed, right?
Yes, well, I like that.
So what I would say is move out all the things that's blocking all the things you desire from flowing in your life. Remove those things. But one big thing that I do want to share, which is something I've had to learn, is stop waiting on it to happen. It's happening. So start living like that right now. Whatever
That's a
you
good
say
one.
you are, walk as that person today, right now. If I say, hey, I am the founder and CEO of a $1 billion global storytelling network that's helping all kind of communities generate wealth and build legacy, I'm that today. I'm not that 10 years from now. That is who I am today. So when I get off this couch and I walk off this set, I'm walking with my head held high as a founder and CEO of something that big. It starts today. Stop waiting. What are we waiting on? Like, it's just happening right now.
I love that. That's what you call an unwritten rule.
Yes, for sure. So, y'all, faith means everything to me.
Yes.
I know it does. It's something that's needed in business and life and everything. You have to believe it.
Yes.
If you don't believe it, nobody else will.
Yes.
So make sure that you're tapping into your faith. Make sure that you're living your life the way you want to live it, even if it's not a rule that's already been written.
Yes.
And we will check with y'all.
Yes. And remember, faith is not pretty and faith is not about perfection. Just show up.
There you go.
Just show up.
So we'll see y'all on the next episode of the Unwritten Rule podcast with Jasmine J.
And Sarah Alexis.
Peace.